We're going to talk about how to interpret the equation of a line. So if you're given an equation, there's certain components of the equation that'll tell you how the line acts on the coordinate plane. And if you're given a line without being told anything about the equation, there are certain things you can do to figure out what the equation of the line is. So the first thing we're going to look at is m. So this is if we're using the linear equation y equals mx plus b. So here we have m is 1/3, b is 3/2. And you can play around with this and change these, but the first thing we're going to look at is the m value. So m is the slope, and this is rise over run. So the increase in y over the increase in x. So even if m is a whole number, if it's 2, it might be beneficial to write it as a fraction, 2 over 1, just so you visualize that rise over run, that y over x. So in this case, m is 1/3. That means for every increase in x, or every increase in x by 3, there's an increase in y by 1, increase in x by 3, increase in y by 1, and that's anywhere on the line. You can pick any point on the line, and if you go over to the right 3, it's going to go up 1, and this is a positive slope, so it's going to go up as you go to the right. And because this is between 0 and 1, it's a fraction less than 1, it's going to be a little flatter of a slope. If we pick a steeper slope, that's the y-intercept. If we pick a steeper slope, such as maybe not that big, maybe something like 13/4, it's going to be a lot steeper because for every 4 increase in x, we're now increasing 13y. You can't even see it on this plane right here, but as x increases by 4, y is going to increase by 13. Now, if m is negative, what's going to happen is the line is going to go down. As x goes to the right, y is going to decrease. So let's pick a smaller number, something we can see on the graph like this. As x increases by 3, because m is now negative, y is going to decrease by 4. It's going to increase by -4, or in other words, decrease by 4. So now the line is going to kind of drop when m is negative. But the values of the numerator and the denominator work the same way. As x increases by 3, y now decreases, but it still decreases by 4, the numerator. The next thing you want to look at is b, this value here. So in this case, b is 3/2. B is the y-intercept. It's really simple in the simplest way it could possibly be put. It's the value where the line crosses the y-axis. So here it's 3/2, it's 1.5. You look right here, 3/2, that's where the line crosses. If we pick something bigger, let's pick 35/12, that's just less than 3, it crosses there. If we pick something negative, like 11/4, it's going to cross at -11/4. It's really that simple. So this is beneficial because if you're given a line, you can kind of count the slope, say, okay, as it decreases, or as it goes over by 3, it decreases by 4, slope must be -4/3, it crosses at -11/4, slope of the line is y equals -4/3 minus -4/3 x minus 11/4. If you're given an equation, you haven't seen the line yet, you can start to graph the line, you can visualize what the line looks like because you know what these values mean. Now, interpretation of mx, what this is this just says if we pick an x, so if x is 5.82, for every increase in 5.82, we're going to get a decrease in y by 7.76 because it's just the slope times the x. So for every increase in 1 by x, we get a decrease in y by 4/3. For every increase in 4.19 by x, you get a decrease in y by 5.59. It's simply just m times x, it's proportionate. So again, this is really beneficial in terms of looking at an equation and determining what the line looks like. It's beneficial in looking at a line and determining what the equation looks like. And it's really, really important to know what these values of m and b stand for.